Recording in progress.
Hello. Week 7, I guess, of these. I think last week I said it was the halfway point. I guess technically this is the halfway point. Or the 6th song I'll be playing out of 12 songs, since I played the same song on week 3 and 4. So I have at least 6 more weeks to go, 6 more songs. I guess this is the halfway point, so because of that, I thought I'd do a little progress report about how far along the album is, all the different aspects of it that I still need to work on and focus on before it's actually published, and then just life stuff. Not really general life report, just more what I've learned and how I've grown since and because of starting this weekly journal thing. Then I'll sing song Prototype A, Canaries and Data Mines. It's about 1/3 to 1/2 finished, but I like the idea. It's a song about prototypes to an extent, and so it's like the first initial version of the song. Actually, it's the last song I started for the album. I started it this week. I knew I had like the general theme and the name of the song, Prototype A, and then no lyrics for it or anything. And I had another song I'd started working on, I don't know, a long time ago, called Canaries and Data Mines, or Canary and Data Mine or something, that had like one like stanza of lyrics, like 4 lines of lyrics. And I don't know, this week, I don't know what it was, I just felt inspired to, or something hit me to start working on this song. I'll get into that. I have a PowerPoint slide on it. And Prototype A, it's a little word play on Type A personality. So we'll talk about that a little bit. Whatever. Let's talk. We can talk if we want to, but let's talk for now. That can go away. We can see Kanye Tree for a bit until we need lyrics and stuff. Kanye Tree loves to stare into your soul. So, progress on the album so far. Like this is the last song this week that's going to be included on it. 12 songs overall. I think I already have like 7 or 8 of them up on YouTube, different ways. This will be the 6th one for these journal things. But yeah, 12 songs is good. Some of them, I think one, like the Be Real song, is intentionally 2 minutes, and I think I have another song that's around 2 minutes or a little bit over. Some of them are a little bit short, and some are kind of long. Other Daydream HD was 5 or so, maybe a little bit past 5 minutes. I want to play that song a bit slower, so probably 5 to 6 minutes. This song I anticipate being around 4 to 5 minutes. Yeah, a lot of songs on this album getting into like the 4 or 5 minute mark, a little bit longer than last album, the first album, and typical songs are 3 to 4 minutes usually, maybe a little bit under, especially if it's going to be on the radio or something, but whatever. I do anticipate the whole album being good 15 minutes or so longer than the first one I made. Try to hit an hour with this one, maybe, who knows. Anyway, writing's around 90% done. Like even on some of the earlier songs I've played, like for this, like Who Counts the Trees, I've changed like 2 or so lyrics in that song, like after making the video, after listening to it a couple times and playing it a lot again, and just trying to notice the things that could be improved, or trying to think stuff that would make it sound a little bit better, or a little bit more thematic or something. And then like this week's song, I started this week, and I guess I could have tried to finish it, but I only have one verse right now, a couple verses left to go. But if I sit down and make myself do it, I would do it in a day. At least get a rough approximation of the full song if I felt like it. One point, and then a few other of my songs I have maybe I'm missing a verse, or maybe I see some areas of it that need to be changed that just have placeholders for now, but mostly it's done. At least all the general themes are there, all the melodies, my style of singing's there, and then the ordering within the songs and stuff. So mostly done thinking about what I'm going to do with guitar and instrumentation and everything. Each song kind of developed from me learning some new guitar techniques and pushing myself a bit. And I've mostly figured out how I'm going to do the instrument stuff on it. I'm sure things might change a little bit. I'm still kind of deciding if I want to incorporate electric guitar and how much I want to incorporate, and the baritone ukulele, or do I just want to have it all on acoustic guitar? It's probably going to be a little bit of a combination, or maybe just mostly acoustic guitar and then little hints of electric on a couple of songs, and hints of ukulele on a couple of songs, or maybe I don't know. So maybe not 95% done. These are just made up numbers. Who cares? By done, I just mean I need to think about it. I can play the same song on any of the instruments. It's just how I'm gonna exactly do it when I'm recording. And I kind of decided not to try to do any sort of drum beats or electric bass or anything like that. If anything, I'm gonna record myself once, with one instrument, with one microphone set up, and then record myself again singing or playing over that, and layer them on top of each other or something. Might do a little bit of that. I need to experiment with a bit, but not too much. Need to get farther along in the recording process of it to really dive into those details. I'm kind of done figuring out the order now that I have all the songs kind of together. I mean, there's different approaches I could take to the order that makes sense. Part of me wants to go with a chronological order of when I wrote them, but even that gets kind of confusing because this song this week, Prototype A, the title of it I came up with, and the themes of it I came up with mostly back a year ago about when I was talking about Type A stuff in my classes. And then the Canary and the data mine stuff, I think that came way before then, back when I was working on my first album, and I wrote a little bit of it, and then I didn't actually start writing the lyrics and making it into a song and combining those together until today, or in my mind over the last, why did I say today? This week, not today. In my mind a little bit over the last couple of weeks I've been kind of working on it. And some other stuff kind of sparked it and inspired me to actually start in full working on it. But they're all there now. The themes are all there, and it's a lot more coherent and put together than my first album songs were, as in everything kind of ties together a bit more. And I think I can make it flow into each other a bit more this time. And there are other orders I could put it in. I gotta consider a bit more how other people are going to view it and listen to it, and I may recruit some people that I've gotten to know in songwriting groups and stuff, and then maybe some friends listen to some pre-launch versions and try to give me some tips on the ordering and stuff, just to get an idea of how other people view and kind of follow along with it. Again, that's another thing I'll have to think about when I actually start putting it together in full and do the recording process, which I've only done a little bit so far. The album cover, yeah, there it is. It's still the same as it was. Haven't really modified it or changed it other than Like I've been working on other stuff in Blender that I'm going to be adding into it. Like the Daydream HD file is going to be in there. I think I'm going to stick with this basic tree, although I might change the shading of it a bit. Like the hue of the green to make it match better. I don't really want to change too much about it. I should add more details to little bits and pieces of it as we get into it a bit more. But there's still, there's only a handful of things I really need to figure out to actually get it published. I need to figure out the recording environment. So, yeah, I really want to record it just in my apartment, because this is where I wrote in most, like 95% of the songs and stuff, wrote in here and practiced here, and I like learned guitar here and songwriting and gone through all this life stuff here, like in this apartment. It just feels more natural. But maybe that's just because I don't have like money or the motivation to go to a recording studio or something. It seems, I don't know, more artificial, more produced to go have it sounding like somebody's starting a car apparently. Too produced, too controlled. Maybe I'll like having some random car starting noise in the middle of one of my songs. Maybe I'll find it nicely appropriate and fitting the themes and stuff. And I kind of like the random little bits of noises that are happening. I wish the car would go away so I can talk about white noise. Okay, goodbye car. Have fun, neighbor. Oh, so the microphone picks it up so well. But aside from that, the other main noise that I hear, without noise filtering by Zoom, which I think I turned off, is the sound of my computer buzzing, whirring, I guess. I've been making sure to turn off my air conditioner or heater now that it's getting colder, turn off the fridge that makes noise sometimes. And this week I unplugged my cat's water fountain and the dehumidifier. So now it's almost eerily silent, but I like it. And if I can get it quiet enough, I can record myself playing. The problem with that is it's kind of hard to play with this much silence. Like I can play easily, like if the air conditioner's going I can play as loud as I want and just not have to worry about it. And when the TV's going I can just kind of play with it in the background and not really have to worry about it. But recording myself, especially with headphones on and like hearing it and how loud it is and stuff, it gets to my head somehow, and it's just harder to play guitar, harder to sing. A little distracting and discomforting to try to play with no other noises going on. You have nothing else to pay attention to other than that, I guess. I learned to turn my mind off or something while recording actively. Anyway, and the equipment setup, like the recording environment setup, I'll record it here. That's going to be the environment. Just where to place things, which room to do it in. I'll probably try to be standing so I can put more energy into it. All that's to do with the environment. And then the equipment. I have to mess around with microphones and recording levels and stuff to make those record properly. It shouldn't be too difficult. I'm going to use my main microphone here. I'm waving my hand in front of it because I don't want to move it in front of the camera just to prove to you that it's there. But I have other microphones I want to set up and do little experiments with. I did one for this song where I recorded with binaural audio. Again, I'll get into that. I'm going to be getting more and more into different recording setups to see how they sound and see what weird different stuff I can do to make it sound interesting and add flavor and depth and whatnot to it. Especially since I'm not adding any instruments. That was kind of the big purpose of using binaural audio and trying to layer stuff on top of each other in the first album that I wasn't adding any other instruments. I'm not in a band, so I wanted to have some amount of depth to it, other than just like a flat recording with a single microphone. I have to do more with mixing. If you don't know what audio mixing is, it's like after you've recorded it, you do all the like compression and adding fade-ins and fade-outs and changing different frequencies of sounds and loudness of sounds at different spots. And if you have multiple, if I want to like sing over myself, I have to like run one recording and then do another recording with me singing and then combine those together and mix them together. It's called mixing because it would usually be like mixing the drum part with the guitar part with the singing that all happen with different microphones in a recording studio. And then like an audio mixer master who has a degree in it would over the course of like weeks or months like listen to it and adjust things and make it sound perfect according to the artists. But I'm figuring it out myself. I learned a lot. I learned everything I know about audio mixing with the last album, which is not very much, a handful of things. But most of my songs, I think every song on the first album is just fade in and fade out at the end with some limiting. Limiting means there's no like really loud random sounds that happen, and if like there's like a click or something, it's not going to be louder than everything else in the recording. And I tried to do some like getting rid of little clicks like that and cleaning up a bit, but I don't know much about audio mixing. Part of the reason I kind of love doing this so I can learn various random skills. So I'll get to learn more about it. I've learned some new terminology and skills and techniques and stuff in Audacity, the software for it. I'm not going to open it, who cares? That I'll be incorporating into this one, and I'll be trying to learn a little bit more as I'm making it. This is audio mixing software. Lots of options. Here's all the different little effects you can add and the things you can modify. Distortion. That's distorting the sound, making it sound more like metal or whatnot, or rock and roll. Did that on the first one a bit because of I was using electric guitar. I want it to sound a little dirty, I guess. I don't know. Bass and treble. I'll do some noise reduction. I'll probably try to learn more about noise reduction before I do it. Get the settings right. Yeah. Hopefully, yeah. I mean, hopefully I learn enough to make it sound as good as I want to in my head, but that's not going to happen. It's never going to sound as good as if I just play it in my apartment for myself. I'm just trying to get as close as I can as possible with these recordings. And then have to think about the actual music videos. So I make my own. I did for the first album. They're a little like laggy. As in they like skip a lot in the first album. I was using Unity to make it in the first album, and for some reason it just you can't play things in real time, and you skipped and I jumped around a little, which was fine. It fit one of the big themes of my album of information kind of getting lost over technology and like through recording and through through recording of video and audio and everything, like static and noise are added and distortion happens and that. So it was good that themes of my album kind of matched not being good at audio mixing, like distortion and things being kind of hard to understand is a theme. So I didn't really mind too much that things weren't perfect. perfectly like mixed in the final version, and the like static and noise and stuff are big themes. So I don't really mind that the music video is a little off. I did what I could in the time I had. But I'm gonna, for this music video, probably just have the album cover, but then I'm gonna modify it and have some way where the lyrics can be displayed. Maybe have like a marquee that shows in like LED lights the lyrics sliding by. I'll have to figure that out in Unity, but I've watched some videos on it, and maybe 1 week I'll work on lighting stuff like that. That's just my idea. It might change completely, who knows. But it'd be nice to have it just match up with the album cover, I guess. I have to change the angle a bit. Get a little bit more of the white line, and get a little bit more of the roof of this thing to get the lyrics like on display. Maybe. I really won't know until I jump into it and try some things and prototype it a bit and run some tests and then try to find the best thing that works. Yeah. And then I guess I could talk about more stuff, but whatever. Let's talk about life progress since starting this, like as a result of doing this journal thing for the last however many weeks, 8 weeks or whatever. I think I've only missed 1 week fully. Which has been nice. I've enjoyed actually doing it and not falling off the wagon too much of it. So I've been building my daily, weekly habits and schedules. That's been the main focus in my life over the last 10 months. I'd say like over the course of this year, but it wasn't like a New Year's resolution or anything, even though it happened around New Year's. I just started developing more daily habits. It started with a morning routine that I developed. I don't want to get into, maybe some other time, probably not, but maybe some other time. I think it's in a different video that not related to this journal. Yeah. Once I got my daily schedule kind of worked together, I started working on a weekly schedule. It's been especially hectic and challenging since school semester started, plus a million random life occurrences, negative and positive, related to school and family and friends and etc. But that's the point of habits and schedules and stuff, so you can have some sort of consistency while all the random chaos and nonsense go on. And if you get thrown off and go into some other state of being depressed or anxious or grieving or something, you can return back to your normal schedules and the normalness, or the normal routine, get back on things. So generally, over time, I've been upping something called conscientiousness, which I'll get into later. Has to do with personality and type A personalities. Of conscientiousness is just having more control over things like your life or other people. Actually, I think I talked about it in a previous video, but whatever. I don't know what I talked about in previous videos. There's like 50 of them at this point. All my YouTube videos, and they all blend together. Some of them are like, the lectures are like 2 hours or over an hour, and these journals are 20 minutes to an hour and a half or whatever. Chaotic. It's too much information for me to know where the information was, or how in detail I talked about it, or if I even talked about it at all for the most part. But whatever. Well, let's talk about it again. You don't really need to worry about what you haven't talked about with these things. You just progress forward, and if you do talk about something a second time, whatever. People will learn about it better than I thought about that in my tangent. By the way, I thought about that in my classes a lot. I was always worried in the beginning, the first few years, that what if I like repeat a story or repeat some information that I forgot I talked about? Like I'm wasting their time. But it's quite the opposite, that people are much more likely to remember something if you say it multiple times. And I started like talking about that in classes, and it's proved by research that you say something more and more times, then people are more likely to remember it, and it better builds the brain connections the more you activate things together and the more you talk about specific things. So it's good to repeat things to an extent, especially like over the course of weeks or months, to keep it fresh on people's minds, and try to give new interesting perspectives to the same information to build onto it. Sorry, a yawn came about. And the second one. I've gotten a lot better. I've gotten a lot more used to recording myself, for sure, over these videos. It's just something I have to do now. And instead of worrying about doing it or not doing it, I know I have to do it, so the struggle becomes like, how do I just get more comfortable doing it? How do I make it easier on myself? How next week do I make sure that I don't get lost in thought, or do I make sure that I actually say the things that I intend to say? Because a lot of the times I don't, because they're usually not written down. And I'm just psychologically used to just me being on the screen in front of my own face as I'm talking to the screen. And this week my camera is set a little bit to the right of my computer, so that when I look at my computer screen, I'm not like making eye contact with myself. That was always a little weird. I noticed, I watched some YouTube streams this week. I wanted to watch somebody play a game that I don't own or don't really plan on owning, so I watched it, and just happened to have like a face cam in it like this. And like the camera's looking from an angle, usually, with these streamers, and then they're looking at their screen, but then the camera is looking at them from a different angle. It's never like directly on their faces, almost never, at least. And then when they have something they want to say to the audience, they look at the camera and that like emphasizes it, like now I'm playing my game and talking about stuff and doing stuff, then you're just watching me, but now I'm addressing you directly. And then you can kind of have a differentiation between those two things, and by adding that variability, it emphasizes emotional events by you making temporary actual eye contact. But also, it's also good for psychologically, so you're not constantly looking at an image of yourself. Looking at yourself. Eye contact's very distracting. But I never really cared for webcam YouTubers, so I just kind of had to do it this week. And since I'm thinking about it and recording myself, I'm more open to it than I used to be. It used to make me really uncomfortable. Like just show the game, please, or show whatever it is that you're doing, like Blender or your drawing or whatever. Don't show your face. I don't want to see your face. This isn't about you. But as someone who does it becomes a intellectual thing, or a learning experience as well. So it actually is fun and interesting. Still awkward at times, but fun and interesting as well, most of the time. I've made a lot of stuff in Blender. Like, I don't know if I would have ever gotten around to actually making a completed like prototypes of this, or completed my Daydream HD bottle or anything if I hadn't done this. I probably would have done them, but at a slower pace. But like having a weekly agenda definitely helps make little bits of progress like that. But I have ideas for other things. I've made little samples of other things as I practiced, but I'd wanted to make something this week, but I got distracted with writing the actual song and got a little too into that to get into Blender in the few days I have to work on it. Whatever. And of course I've gotten better at guitar, better at singing, better at talking about music, because I have to talk about music and my album and stuff and kind of contextualize and frame things for these videos, so my mind is learning to think that way and talk that way a bit. Yep. Yeah. Let's move along. Move along. To the song. Prototype A, verse 1. I don't know if I want to have like capitalize this or have a hyphen or something. No, I think it's fine the way it is. Having the type A thing be a little bit in the background, and have it be more about prototype A, first prototype, and then colon, canaries in data mines, or canaries for the data mines, something like that. I want that theme of canaries in mines to be part of the song, when like data mines, to make it more modern and related to social media and the internet in general, and various other concepts from the album. That actual part of the song hasn't really made its way into it too much. Like this first 4 lines, I wrote the first, this first 4 lines, yeah, I wrote the basics of it, like I said, like back when I wrote my first album or something, when I was working on just random ideas that didn't make it into the full album. And then, yeah, I wrote this week. But coal mine, or like mining and mines and caves or whatever, the things related to mines are going to make their way more thematically into the song as it goes along and gets more written. The real inspiration, I'm going to skip this for a bit. The real inspiration for this, I'm going to go down here, is I've been listening to old-timey music, because like a long time ago I had an idea to write a song about, or based on Big Rock Candy Mountain, but related to like the internet. And that was the one I played a few weeks ago. What was it called? I always forget the names of things, especially in the moment. Whatever. It's here somewhere. What week was that? New Boob Tube Blues. Maybe that's why I didn't remember it. These stupid convoluted titles I come up with, sort of on purpose. Like Prototype A, Canaries in Data Mines. So long, convoluted, complicated. No Face Detected song I haven't really talked about yet. Big, long, stupid title. I like having it that way. Having titles that are sort of unapproachable almost. So I can kind of ensure that no one listens to them. And then having them like 5 or 6 minutes, no one's gonna listen to this. The more I do it, the more I can ensure that only me and like a handful of people I decide to listen to my music ever actually listen to it, and I don't ever become popular or anything. The more weird, convoluted, and nonsensical I can make things, the better. Keep people away as much as possible. Keep the attention off of me. And so I can keep doing this without the worrisome bother of being famous or having anyone have expectations about me. But yeah, I listened to old-timey songs of Big Rock Candy Mountain and Woody Guthrie. That New Boob Tube Blues became like sort of based around, even though, yeah, he didn't write that song. That was Henry McClintock, I believe. Of his general theme. And from that, just listening to various other old-timey sort of musicians. Never really did throughout my life, although I recognize some of the songs. But I've been enjoying listening to the just like a dude with a guitar type songs from back then, when technology wasn't really around as much, and I like the idea of taking those old-timey like concepts and ideas and trying to see how they relate to new modern problems and such. So I like this song, 16 Tons. Very good. You probably recognize it if you heard it. Whatever. I can play a little snippet of it on here. I'm used to playing like my version now, so I don't remember how the actual like song version goes. Oh wait, yeah. You work 16 tons and what do you get? Another day old. So I'm again mixing it up with my own song. And it's hard to. I haven't played the original in a few weeks when I was like learning it. You'll own 16 tons, and what do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me, 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. Oh, it's about a guy working in a mine, like every day. You overwork yourself and go out of your way, like doing stuff for other people. And what do you get from it? You deeper in debt, older, not really much to show. You're just kind of doing the work for other people, being a bit of a indentured servant, I guess. Just as the higher ups like it to be, because if you got too much money, you'd stop mining and you go paint some paintings or do woodworking or something that you enjoyed. So if they paid you enough to actually live and thrive on, then their business would implode on itself, and that's no good. So many songs from that time period are about miners and mining. I don't even know if the guy who actually wrote the song was ever a miner. It was just sort of like a theme of all, like, so many folk songs around then. Hobos and miners, and I don't know. I don't know if that was actually like a huge part of civilization back then, or that was just within media at the time, or whatever. But I like the sort of aesthetic of the mines. The children crave the mines. But yeah, that song, since I've been listening to it, it's just that stupid dun 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 dun. That little lyric or theme just gets stuck in your head so deeply, and the song just keeps on coming on Spotify because I guess it's popular. That yeah, kind of had to do it, and I already had the Canary in the Data Mine sort of idea written about a little bit, and yeah, so it kind of appropriately coincided with a few of my previous like themes and songs and song ideas, along with having a really catchy melody. So I've been working on the melody, incorporating it into my song, but in its own different sort of way. I guess that's the end of that sentence, even though it didn't sound like it, but it is, I swear. Like, his song was about like being used and like not liking it, like not liking like he knows he's being taken advantage of, and he wouldn't be doing it if he had the money to not do it. But this song's more about type A people, conscientious type A people, which I can talk about now for this to make sense. So I'm going to talk about type A people, and I'll get back to that idea. So type A personality, type A people, it was a term coined a few decades ago. I forget exactly when. I think the 60s or something, maybe. Time period. It's history. Who cares? It was coined at some point by some cardiologists who did research on personality and like heart attacks or like cardiac events. Not specifically heart attacks. I'm not a cardiologist, so I don't know the terminology too well. But type A personality literally means a cardiac prone, or cardiac prone personality, as coined in their original article that they published. They basically just looked at people who got heart attacks and saw what the types of personalities they have relative to people who got fewer heart attacks, and then like you look at enough people who have heart attacks and their personalities and who don't have heart attacks and their personalities, and you get a picture of the type of personality that leads to more people having cardiac events. So it is the personality that one can have that increases the likelihood of dying early, because heart-related deaths are number one. Especially it's definitely after you get past year 45, they become the number one cause of death as people's hearts give out from damage from genes reproducing, oxidative damage, and just overall just gradual decades of damage to the cells and to the blood vessels and to the heart, and not exercising it, not eating right, eating wrong, etc., etc. That lead to just over time the heart getting worse and then giving out. And there are of the big 5 personality characteristics, ocean, the ones that change from type A people are conscientiousness and agreeableness. Agreeableness, that's the easy one, just sort of how much you are. It's hard to define these without just saying the word itself. How agreeable you are with other people. So how much you go out of your way to help other people, as well as how much you kind of conform and do what others want you to do. So type A people are low in that typically, and high in conscientiousness. So that they're more self-absorbed and self-serving, regardless of how it affects other people. Yeah, somewhat narcissistic, you could say. It's related to agreeableness, inverse related. And high conscientiousness, which pretty sure I've talked about before, but whatever. Conscientiousness is our desire for order and control over ourselves and other people. It involves with ourselves, our hygiene and our schedules, daily habits, weekly habits, and how much we control about our personal lives and lists we make, and to-do lists, and how much we have to follow instructions and everything to a T. All that's conscientiousness, and as well as how much you want to control other people, because it's easier to run your life, and if you know what other people are going to do when you have complete control over their actions and stuff. Again, it's sort of related to narcissism. But they're achievers, achievement-oriented people, basically. With them, they want success in life for themselves. They want progress in life for themselves, etc., etc. Often at the cost of other people's well-being. Usually not intentionally. It's usually just they're really striving for themselves and working on themselves and making progress in their careers and lives and stuff. And other people just kind of get thrown aside or pushed out of the way or knocked over or disregarded, and they're just kind of blindsided because they're focused on their own goals in life. That's general type A perspective. More often seen in firstborns and onlyborns, because I don't know how much I want to get into this. I love talking about this, but I don't know how much I want to get into it. Firstborn children, they're like the one thing that they're the one person that their parents are interacting with. So parents of firstborn children treat their firstborn kids like adults more so than the other kids. Like they have adult level expectations of they should be learning language quickly, and they should be following instructions and stuff, because they're the only child that the parents are focusing on. And the mothers and fathers talk directly to firstborn and onlyborn kids because they're the only kid, so they get more attention, more praise, as well as more ridicule, more discipline in general. And then when a second-born child comes around, then the parents' attention gets split to 2 kids, and moderating the relationship between the 2 of them. That's why second-born kids more likely to be psychologists and therapists and nurses and stuff, where you'd help other people, because in your first few years of life, your parents were trying to moderate the relationship between you and your older sibling. Whereas a firstborn, they spend a couple years alone with their parents, getting all the attention and praise and direction, and then all of a sudden that's split with another child. And then anything beyond a second-born kid, they just kind of get given less attention, because then the parents have 3 kids, 4 kids, 7 kids, and they have to they're more likely to become artists and creative types and things where they need to express themselves more loudly to get attention, and they're a lot less focused on achievement and social status. Yeah. But those are very, very big generalizations. Just statistically, firstborns and onlyborns are type WAD, type A sort of people. I'm a fourth child, a baby. So far away from firstborn, onlyborn. I could get into that a lot more, and I have, but not right now. And here, they love to sit in the front row of classes. They are... What the heck? Control Z. I don't know how that happened. They love to sit in the front row of classes. So like the front 3 rows of all my big classes were usually like type A students. I like to make fun of them a little bit for being type A, because usually these are the students that get rewarded the most. They're the ones that raise their hands. They're the ones that are like quietly paying attention the whole time, and they would achieve good grades in the class no matter what kind of teacher there is, no matter what the material is. They're just achievement-oriented people who are sitting in the front row because they don't want distractions. They want to pay attention as much as possible. They want to be seen by the teacher, so the teacher can praise them, and that's they raise their hand and they try to get things right, and they try to make an appearance and stuff so they can get attention and achievement from adults, authority figures, teachers and parents and whatnot. So they go out of their way to do so. Not good or bad, really. Like I said, I make fun of them, and I make fun of the people in the back as well, who are hiding and don't want any attention and are on their phones and stuff. But they all deserve an equal chance, not just the type A people. Not good, not bad either. It does increase the likelihood of heart-related issues later in life, but that's because they're living at like a faster pace, where they're stressed about stuff more and anxious about stuff more because they're working towards achieving things. They're working towards accomplishing things and starting businesses and working up in their careers. Whereas the opposite, like type B people, which is the literal opposite of type A, of low conscientiousness and high agreeableness, of wanting to be as lazy as possible and not really caring about achievement. That was too long of a sentence, so I got trapped in it. But people like that, it's fine. There's no good or bad way to live. It's just type A people generally get praised by superiors more because that's what they're used to from their early years of life, and that's what sort of gives them their motivation in life, like making other people give them attention and give them like awards and trophies and happiness and telling them that they are good and whatnot. Whereas that's not going to do much for a fourth-born child, like telling them they did a good job. It's like, yeah, okay. And type A people are more likely to accomplish things just because they're doing stuff more and they are achieving things more, even though they're like doing it for attention and for praise from other people a lot. Like, that's the bad part. Like, it's bad if you're doing things for other people's like affection and other people's attention. I try to encourage them to more so find intrinsic motivators. Like, don't be in class for me to say, hey, good job, you answered the question right. Be in class to actually learn the material and improve your life in some way. And if anything, try to chill a bit so you don't have a heart attack, and take things at a slower pace and take breaks and relax and see things from a type B perspective a bit, and be less conscientious, be more agreeable, and care a little bit more about like raising other people up and not just yourself. Be more okay with not having to-do lists for everything, and having a day where you don't have anything on an agenda to do. And like, it's okay to back off a little from the type A stuff, because it's too extreme means that you're pushing yourself too hard and you're going to like die in your 30s from a heart attack. And as well, it's really not good to be too extreme in the other direction of like type B, of extremely laid back and too like agreeable, because then you're just laying around doing nothing all day and don't care about achievement or order in your life whatsoever, or you're doing anything. You're just a person that exists. So some for them, like I would say, do schedule more and get into habits more, and try to be a little less agreeable, which sounds like a bad thing, but it just means like maybe don't do literally everything people tell you to do just because they tell you to do it, and don't just do everything in your life for other people, because you also need to achieve things for yourself and make accomplishments in your own life and do things to make you happy. So whichever extreme you're on, try to be just less of the extreme, and then you'll find happiness somewhere in the middle, like 70%. And that's kind of a big part of why I started getting into daily routines and weekly routines. Is like I have no sort of daily schedules of anything. If you take away like I have to be at school at a certain time and I have to be here at a certain time, if you take that away, then like actual physical like obligations of me having to be places, then I just would sit around and go to sleep whenever I felt like, and wake up whenever I felt like, and eat whenever I felt like. And it started to hit me more and more, especially with more research and researching personality and researching sleep and daily stuff, that having some amount of order is actually a really good thing, and it like conveys to your body that you're healthy if you're clean, and it conveys to your body that you're regularly getting what you need to get if you like eat at the same time every day, like the same amount, and if you go to sleep at the same time every day, that's a good signal to your body and your brain. So some level of conscientiousness is good, and I've tried to be less agreeable and say no to people more, and do more things like specifically for me rather than for others. Like this whole art thing is all for me. So now that I've gone on about that for a long time, the 16 Tons song, it's about like working in a coal mine sucks, working a lot sucks, and doing too much sucks. So it has the work part of type A, but it doesn't really have like the personality part. So I kind of modified the theme of that a little bit. So yeah, it's more about like somebody working really hard and enjoying the work and getting lost in it, but that's sort of a negative bad thing. And the song, at least this first verse here, is kind of making fun of type A people, or sarcastically, I'm going to make fun of type B people in the second verse. But it's like you work 16 hours, and what do you get? You're pushing your body with like multiple energy drinks a day, like even one a day is horrible for you, or coffee, and pushing yourself with cigarettes or vaping just to have enough like energy to continuously work and accomplish the high amount of achievements and the high amount of things you want to get accomplished in a day. And then in order to like compensate for that overactive energy like expenditure throughout your work day, you use downers like alcohol and marijuana and harder drugs, to kind of counteract the heavy usage of drugs to get you through the high energy part of the day. And a lot of type A people, and I've seen so many examples in school, students and friends and colleagues and such, of people who just push themselves way too hard, trying to accomplish stuff and get attention, and then compensating with other drug use to try to relax afterwards. And it's just not a sustainable lifestyle. And people I see who do that get to like mid semester and are just dead and like completely burnt out because they've used all their energy, and their body never really relaxes and recuperates because they're doing drugs or They're continuing to work during their time off. And the achievement-oriented aspect of that is in the song too. Of you lose your purpose after curtain call. Curtain call being like after a play or something, when you call the cast back up to the stage and they all like do their bows and everyone claps and stuff. Like, oh, it's like specifically designed just to make them give them attention and praise and accomplishment and make them feel good. So like that's what type A people are doing this for. They're doing this to impress somebody because they learned to do that when they were 1 and 2 years old with their parents. So they're still doing it as adults, except it became professors and stuff instead of their parents. So heavy drug use, both upwards and downwards, is a theme of the song, as well as a theme of the album. But the dichotomy between the up and down aspect of drugs I explore more with this song specifically. And also looking more into like water's always been a big theme since the beginning of my music, but I haven't really looked too much into like fire. It's made its way into a couple of my other songs. It's a big vital part of the world and of life and stuff. So I'm making this world. Like fire, naturally, it needs to be incorporated in it and thought about. So it's been giving me a chance to think about the idea of fire. And type A people often characterized as burning the candle from both ends, like double time. So another reason I'm exploring that theme within this song, to burning themselves out, and like they are the fuel and the drugs are the fuel, and the fire is accomplishment that's quickly killing them relative to other people. And then I definitely I have nothing against type A people, like I said, just might chill if you're on the extremes. And like another verse is going to be kind of making fun of the other extreme. This first verse is all about like second perspective. Like you work 16 hours and what do you get? And you lose all your purpose in your body and your stuff, your, and it's about somebody else. Like you're judging a type A person. And then the second or maybe third verse is going to get into like, here's what I do. Like, I wake up and ingest media for 16 hours a day, and I wake up and look at my phone and turn on a stream, and constantly am just bombarded with things that mean I don't need to get any sort of achievement or accomplishment in life or do anything for other people. Just extreme on the type B side, which is more what the rest of the album has explored, the distraction and the sort of overwhelming nature of social media and media in general. And the sort of lethargy that causes in people's lives. What else? I could talk about more stuff. That's just, the general ideas for this song. Like I said, this may be a third done. I may have 2 more like verses to it, or I may have 1 more verse and just kind of hit that type B stuff. I may even add to this verse, subtract from this verse, move this verse later, or move words around the things. I only started this week, so it's just a general gist right now. And this is just what I have so far. What else am I gonna talk about? So, yeah, I recorded this earlier. No way I would have gotten the lyrics correct in any way whatsoever if I tried to play it live right now. Nor do I really want to at the moment today. I've been very, very laid back today. I did everything I needed to do, working out and exercising and walking and cooking and whatnot. But I was very, very tired. I always get a little lethargic Saturday evenings. Kind of contradictory to me trying to do these videos, because I have a lot more energy Thursdays and Fridays and like Saturday mornings, and then like I need to record. But it's like relaxation time. I guess like a lifetime of Saturdays being relaxation day. with school and through college and everything. I've just trained me to think of Saturdays as a complete day off from any sort of work or motivation. So in this video, trying a little different recording thing. Well, I'm not trying, I did do it. I have the lyrics, yes. So I have this is how I set it up. I'm standing in a different part of my apartment. I have this thing set up on a bar stool, a phrenology head with a camera on it. My camera that's going right now, hello. Strapped to a phrenology head, which is a human head shaped and sized, so it's an accurate head. And then I have binaural microphones on either ear, like taped to the ears. So this is the right ear, and there's another one on the left ear, and the right ear captures sound as it would be from the right side of your head, and the left ear captures sound as it would be from the left side of your head. And I'm so basically the recording should sound like you're sitting like 3 feet away from me, like listening to me kind of sing to you and walk back and forth, except your ears are like 8 inches or so below your eyes, so it should sound like it's coming from like your shoulders or something. Ideally, I would have put the camera right here in the center so that the microphones would be more aligned to the center, or the center of your head as you looked at the screen. But yeah, whatever. It's just a test. I don't think I've ever recorded this way before and put anything on YouTube, so I just wanted to kind of see, especially when I close my eyes, like what it sounds like to have that recording setup of like simulating somebody sitting in front of me as I play. Anyway, so yeah, this uses binaural audio. If you want to experience anything I just said whatsoever, you need to put headphones on so you can separate left and right stereo tracks. Yeah, just a curious experiment to see kind of what it sounds like. It captures way too much. Like, these microphones capture way too much of the random noise in my apartment, even though I had turned everything off. And with it being directional, it's even more distracting. Like, when I was recording, like, the computer's right here next to the left ear. So while it's playing, like, you can hear the buzz of the computer, like, in the left ear, like more than the right ear. It's kind of interesting, and like maybe I'll utilize that in some way for the album and do some ASMR type binaural audio kind of nonsense where I like walk around the head or something. The first album I had those 2 microphones strapped to my wrist like this, like one, and I was playing like this with them connected like that. So in theory, it added some stereo sound, but I think I mixed it way too low, so it's kind of hard to hear that differentiation from left and right. Okay, let's play the song. I think it starts out with some random like tapping and smacking the strings and stuff. It took a few takes to actually record it correctly. Here's the lyrics. Here. Let's go. Let me turn off my main microphone so we can hear it better.
Oh, they'll die not knowing what the fight was.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I noticed. Oh, I've been slowly descending into my futon as this video's gone by. Too relaxed. But yeah, one thing I forgot to mention when I was talking about the themes of it and stuff, like in a more like literal, like thematic sense, as I'm putting it into my world. This is about like in the future, if there's like really good workers in a company or something, that the company can like get them to continue working into the afterlife, like converting them into like artificial intelligences or putting them into robots or something. So like their actual afterlife is denied to them because they're such good workers and they're seeking achievement. And maybe it's their choice, maybe it's the company's choice, but instead of moving on to the next life, they've just committed to working and working and working and working. And it'll kind of fall into the AI afterlife universe of like, okay, you're out of the real world, but you can still work for the company you're working for if they want you to, and accomplishing things for them. Especially if you were a really good worker. And that's what you get for doing a lot of work. You get people who expect you to do a lot of work, and double-edged sword. Is that the right expression? That makes no sense. Not double-edged sword. Maybe. I'll have to Google that later. But has downsides. The whole type A thing, because people will take advantage of you. What else can I possibly talk about at this point? Like the guitar stuff I do with that. It sounded a little sloppy in the recording, just because it sounded a little sloppy in the recording, because I played a little sloppy in the recording. Because I was recording it, so whenever I'm recording, the fingers don't do what they're supposed to do. It sounds a little more clear, like what I'm doing with my fingers, like hitting individual strings and creating melodies and stuff. A little more apparent in real life when I'm not having a microphone in my face. And I learned from that recording, it sounds pretty good. Like if I want to utilize that recording structure of using a binaural headphones on a head, I need to move around more so you can actually like notice when I'm talking into the left ear or the right ear. Like I said, like walk in a circle around it or something for a song, or like just walk more left and right, or get closer to the head or something. So there's more differentiation between, the left and right ear as well. And this might be because the microphone was set down on a bar stool about even with my guitar, but the vocals are definitely a lot harder to hear, although they were mostly coherent. Is that the right word? Comprehensible? Hearable, understandable. They're mostly understandable, but kind of a little bit difficult to understand, especially if you didn't have the actual words pasted on the screen like this, which is why I made sure to do it that this week. So, I mean, I learned that. I mean, I never wanted to actually have that as my main recording process, but I might have it at least for a song or two as like something I mix in to the main recording with like this microphone. Let's see if I can get it in frame. Here, there it is. Hello, say hi to the microphone. Standard, just mono microphone that has one recording and not stereo. Oh, we've done it again. We've come to the end, and I have no idea how to conclude the video. I know it should end. I don't necessarily want it to end. Like, I could keep talking about stuff, but I just don't feel like there's anything I need to talk about right now, or really want to talk about. And it's what, 11:40? I don't have that much longer till I gotta go to bed. Like, I go to sleep at 1. I try to get to bed at 12, have all my devices off and stuff, like to do some reading. Wonderful thing about working from home. I just can decide I want to wake up at 8 and go to sleep at 1, and then I can, be up at some hours of the night. I love the night. Very quiet. I do plan. I have several ideas for stuff in Blender. Stuff to talk about in these videos. Like music videos and whatnot. Definitely want to make, like, in Blender. I don't know what that sound was. That was a weird sound. Definitely want to make in Blender, like, a cell phone. Maybe some other kind of basic devices. When you think of, like, the branding, the company behind who makes this. Like, I kind of created a fictional company, like the company, and incorporated it on, like, the cigarette package logo a bit. Yeah, so I need to flesh out the world I'm creating a bit more. Why's the camera frozen? Why is Zoom frozen? Oh no. That's it. I don't know if it's still recording or not, but I'm going to end it. And hopefully it actually recorded it. Bye-bye.